Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is my son. Today we are going to be discussing two island ideas, one that I've had in the works for quite some time and an island that I always wanted to do, and another one that is a relatively new idea inspired by some recent hobbies and interests of mine. This is kind of a video for me to explore these island ideas, see which one I would like to do, but also to share them with you, hopefully give you some insight into the way that I plan out islands and get your feedback on which island I should do once I finish my desert core island, which I am
obsessed with.
So the first idea that I've had in the making for a long time, I started the Pinterest board like way back. I've always wanted to have Chrissy and Francine on an island together and have it all be inspired by KK Bubblegum, which is the album art that they're a part of in the KK Slider discography. I've been very inspired by some artists' renditions, like fan art. I love this Raymond just crying his heart out with the little fan with Chrissy and Francine on it. I just have this image of creating a big stadium on my island for Chrissy and Francine to perform KK Bubblegum with KK Slider, and I just think it's so iconic. I would love to have a blue and pink inspired island that has some city elements, that has some more natural, almost fairy core-esque, but like cutie, kawaii pop star vibe. I think it could be really fun. And then I came up with some names and some build ideas. So for the names, I have Pop City, KK City, Pastelia, Blue Pink, Pop Isle, Bubblicious, Bubble City, Casa KK, KK Idol. In the Japanese version of the game, KK Bubblegum has a different name, but the direct translation of that Japanese version of the name is KK Idol. So I thought it was cute if it was called KK Idol. Bubble Pop is my last island name idea. And for build ideas, of course, the main build that we want to do on this island is a dramatic kawaii pop star palace and garden. Then we need a stadium, of course, for them to perform. We need a karaoke bar. I want to do like a whole pastel city area, a canal style neighborhood. I think that this would be really cool for this island in particular. I've never really done like a canal neighborhood. I have a map. I'll show you what I mean. And also a ticket booth. I think it'd be really fun for my house to be like the ticket booth, VIP lounge. And of course, we need a merch stand as well. We're probably gonna have like merch for KK Bubblegum like all over this island. Definitely make a lot of custom designs so that we can have just like merch all over the place. I think it's gonna be amazing if I choose this one. So this is the map that I created for the KK Bubblegum inspired island. It would be best for the resident services to be quite close to the airport. Ideally, I would like to have dual south river mouths, and I would put my house pretty close because just past my house, this whole huge section is going to be the stage and like amphitheater. It's surrounded by second level terraforming with a little bit of third level terraforming in the background just as like a backdrop, and we can put some lights really super high up just to give that like scale. So we also have a little platform for them to kind of like walk out onto during their performances. And we have two inclines going up on either side, of course, to get up onto the stage. Behind that, kind of hidden behind this third level of terraforming, we have a shopping district. And then behind the shopping district, you will also get a view to the more natural museum and campsite area. This whole back corner would be kind of more mystical with the blues and the pinks, with more of those star fragment items, glowing moss items, just a really like mystical fairy core blue and white vibe back here. Heading back to the entire left-hand side of the island, we would have kind of this double bridge moment, more with some probably garden elements down here as well, moving up into the second level that has this giant sunken garden waterfall moment. I just went a little bit extra on this. To terraform it in the game might be a little bit difficult, but I love the way that it looks on the map, and that would be my like ideal thing that I'd like to create here. And then you come up and you of course have the pop stars houses. We have Chrissy and Francine up here on the 3rd level, which is where they deserve to be. And then of course we have over on the right a canal neighborhood, like I mentioned. So the river mouth kind of twists a little bit in order to give this a bit more space as it comes up here, but it's just 2 levels. The first 2 houses are down on the lower level, and then it goes up and you have more houses in a circle, more or less. And then you can go down the back to get towards the campsite again. It's a pretty simple layout, but it's gonna have a lot of impact, I feel. In the beginning portion of the island, that's where I'd have more of like the little merch stands and like ticket stalls and VIP lounges and bars and all of that kind of thing. Even like little practice sessions, like little demo areas. I think just like centering this island around Chrissy and Francine gives this island its distinct flavor. I think the map is just in service to creating these very large, dramatic, almost elegant areas for Chrissy and Francine to be in. Here are the villagers that I would hope to have on this bubblegum inspired island. We of course have Chrissy and Francine, but we also have 2 options for every other personality type. So we've got Smug with Pietro and Ed. We've got Snooty with, of course, Francine, and Allie, which I think Allie actually matches this aesthetic so perfectly. It's almost terrifying. Then to the next line, we have Bruce and Vladimir as our potential cranky villagers, and Sky and Peaches for normies, Filbert and Pablo for the lazy boys. To the next line, we have Fuchsia and Ursula as the sisterly options, Pierce and Snake for the jocks, and of course Chrissy and Chai for our peppy babies. So any combination, as long as it included Chrissy and Francine, would be amazing. I personally like to have one of every personality type on the island, and I think there's enough options in here that if you were picky about not having too many of the same species, you could also potentially do something with that as well. But these were my top picks for villagers on KK Bubblegum. And lastly, while we're talking about KK Bubblegum, I want to go over my Pinterest board. So of course you can see that this fan art, there's lots of fan art on this one featuring Chrissy and Francine, and I think they're so adorable. This path by Daniela Crossing was actually kind of the impetus for actually starting this Pinterest board. It's literally called Bubblegum Road. So this is 100% the city path that I would use, the tile that I would use throughout most of the island, creating that pastel city vibe. I love the cherry blossom. I think this is a perfect inspiration shot for this island, and I'm really excited. I'm literally talking as if this island is happening, but I would love for it to happen, so. This is what I'm talking about for some of the more natural areas and how it can kind of start to feel a little bit fairycore on the fairycore side. I would like to have a mix of the more like pop aesthetic with the bright colors and like glow sticks, neon signs, and then this softer side to the pink and blue with like some elegant touches would be my ideal for this island. And I absolutely love this HHP build that someone posted. It's just the perfect ideal Chrissy and Francine build, and I think I want to do something very similar to this for their house area, where it is verging on that like elegant aesthetic. I just love the picture of them together, and just seeing them together on an island is like the main reason why I'd want to do this theme at all. I also found this, but it's very kidcore leaning, but this is a kind of pastel city vibe that I was talking about, where I would like it to feel busy, but it's like cutesy. More pink and blue and less purple. This is actually leaning towards our next theme a little bit. I also have to shout out this creator, Mitchie Crossing on Instagram, whose castle builds are literally blowing my mind right now. And this, I believe, is a Barbie, from a Barbie movie. So this is made on a spicy switch. I'm aware that you can't put kids' tents on top of castles on just a regular switch, but I think the inspiration is there, and I just love this like pretty pink aesthetic. I kind of went a little bit elegant core on my inspiration. I'm obsessed. So yeah, feel free to check out the Pinterest board if there's anything that you are interested in there. But let's move on to our next theme. So the second theme that I am going to share with you today is a little newer in my heart, but nonetheless important. And I'm really curious to see which of these two you are interested in seeing me create. I don't know if I have a favorite right now. We just talked about bubblegum, so I'm like,
oh my gosh, I want to do bubblegum.
This next island is inspired by everything astrological, moon related, and Sailor Moon related. There are a lot of astrological items from Celeste in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and also a lot of just like spacey items like the UFO, the like shuttle, the meteor, the little lunar lander thing, the little lunar rover. I want to use all of those items. I want to dress up as a little astronaut and run around on my island, but also I want a nighttime dream address. I want to use all of the twinkly, sparkly things, and I want it to all have a very purple vibe. So this is the mood board that I've created for this Sailor Moon astrological moon inspired island. It's very purple and blue and like with those warm yellows. This image right here from the show really gives that vibe that I'm looking for with these like baubles. They always do this like blurred out effect in the show with all these sparkly baubles all around and just kind of give it that like hazy nighttime romantic feeling, and I want it so bad. A major thing that I would like to build on this island is actually this palace right here. Doesn't this spot right here look exactly like the museum? I think so. So we can definitely create this area on the island, and I'm super excited to show you the map that I have. But first thing is first, these are the name ideas that I have for this island: Sailor City, Crystal, Luna, Astro, Lunaria, Usagi, Zodiac, Starland, Moon City, Starseed, Chiron, and Northern. I don't know which one I'm leaning towards at all. I kind of like Sailor City. I think that that's really cute. And the builds that we have for this island are a starlight purple Japanese style city, a school area, a silver millennium crystal palace, the moon's surface with magical moon craters, astrological canal walkway, an alien landing. So these are two house builds. So the main floor would be an arcade, and then the basement of the house would be the underground Sailor Scout base. These are the villagers that I've selected for the Sailor Moon inspired island. We have some blues, we have a touch of yellows in certain places, and some darker colors as well, some black on the villagers and white, keeping within this kind of like moody palette for the most part with a lot of purple. So starting at the top, we have our jock villagers, Genji and Rod. I think that they're super cute for this island, especially Genji with this kind of like more Japanese inspired look. Then we have for the lazy boys, Bob and Sherb. On to the next line, we have our cranky boys, Static and Roscoe. And I really feel like Roscoe gives that tuxedo mask vibe. Next, we have our smug boys, Kid and Julian. Of course, Julian is like perfect for this island. I think he just gives Sailor Moon villain vibes. Speaking of those vibes exactly, actually, I think Renee and Quinn as our sisterly villagers also are giving villain moments. Then we have Bianca and Dottie on the next line for our peppy girls, Ione and Kiki for the normies. Kiki, of course, being very similar to Luna, and I think Ione kind of gives Sailor Moon vibes, Like she could be Sailor Venus or Sailor Moon herself because she has the little ears that are kind of like the space buns too. And lastly, we have our snooty girls, Judy and Diana. So that is the possible villager lineup. Again, I've given 2 different villagers for each personality type and hopefully a good blend of species as well here. So I struggled a little bit to create a map for this island because the one thing that I knew is that I wanted to have a city where all of the houses were densely packed as they would be in like Tokyo. So on the left was my first attempt with the dual south river mouths, and I ended up scrapping it because it just felt very like split and it didn't really give a whole lot of room to fully explore the like lunar surface moment. In the second attempt, I kind of scattered these little droplets of water. I don't know if I'll end up doing that or if I'll end up just using pathing so that it shows up on the map with like little dots, because I think that that'd be really cute. I did find a moon surface custom design that I can show you in a second, but I started initially with a dual south river mouth and ended up going for a left river mouth, left and south, so that I could split the island more diagonally and I could have it feel a little bit more organic. I mean, I know these right angles don't feel very organic, but we could change that path of the river when we are actually building it. I moved the Crystal Palace onto the front half of the island because it's a very big build. It's a very inspiring build for me, and I don't really want to shove it to the back. I feel like the back should be left for that like really spacey lunar moment where you can see far into the distance. I've put the entire second half onto the second level so that I can have some craters dug deep inside. I'm not sure if this should actually be 2 levels up and the whole entire back should be the 3rd level so that I can have some really deep craters. I don't know if that's necessary. I think it might be a little overkill, and if I can avoid it, I will. I also think that having this 3rd layer closer to the front will create more of a divide to where there's like really tall city elements and then you kind of wiggle your way through and you're on the surface of the moon. I also gotta put myself in the back a little bit isolated in this like little nook. I think it could be like an astronaut's lair. And I also put resident services and Able Sisters kind of close to the front, which I think is nice because then you could stand in between the 2 buildings and get a view across the water to the city skyline for Tokyo. And I think that'd be really, really cute. So yeah, those are my 2 attempts at the map. They both have their interesting aspects, but I think the second one on the right is more what I would end up doing if I was to do this island. For this island, I'll start with like my astro board on my Animal Crossing Pinterest, like more constellation based, more astrology. And actually I have this one path that I just found today, which is the surface of the moon. And I love this one so much because it has those small craters and like bumps and rocks and even footprints, and I love the vibes of these. I also love this island name, Quizak. I love this celestial toga. I think that's hilarious. I also think this path could be super fun for more of the like astrological areas. And just look at this. Like, I want this. I want to feel this vibe on a portion of my island. That is what I want the back half of the island to feel like. Very sparse, but very like spooky almost. Definitely a nighttime island. I definitely want a clear sky with a lot of stars for that dream address, baby. And then I have a whole other board that's just for Sailor Moon inspired things. Is this just a Sailor Moon fan board? Almost, but it is directed towards my Animal Crossing intentions. I found this purple road path that I think is perfect for this island. They also have a deeper color of purple. Between the 2 of them, I can find a style that I like. And I did find this creator on Reddit who actually created a Sailor Moon inspired island. And I think that's so cute. I'd love to go and visit this island. They've put in pictures of Sailor Moon within this pastel city that's more purpley, definitely purple. I think that would look beautiful at night, especially with like these frozen items and all of these moons as well. It's so pretty. I found these iridescent bubble codes that you can use on the plates to make them look like little baubles, and I think that that's actually so perfect for the effect that they always do on the camera in Sailor Moon, so I think that will work out great. And of course, I've got lots of pictures of this palace on the moon that's heavily featured throughout the city, just so that I can get different angles of it and really build it. I think I'm going to use a gazebo on the 3rd level, then the museum, then 2 silos, and of course a bunch of simple panels. So many people have made Sailor Moon inspired things in Animal Crossing, from the outfits to posters to the island theme, and also fan art. This one is freaking hilarious. So yeah, I'm really excited for this Sailor Moon Island if we end up doing this one. And then I proceeded to turn off my microphone and record the outro silently. So this is voiceover Taya trying to decipher what Taya is gesturing to. I think the gist of what I was trying to wrap up and say is that these 2 themes are actually very similar. They're just 2 different sides of the same coin. One is more nighttime, more like ethereal romantic. The other one is more daytime pop star, lively, show business baby. And so I think the more purpley side and the more pastel primary color side, they both have their advantages, and I'd be excited to hear which one you guys would like to see me do. If you're not already subscribed, feel free to subscribe down below if you're interested in seeing more from me, and give the video a little like. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!